You're listening to the Uprise Astrology podcast, a podcast that inspires the present-day visionary to rise to their best life. My name is Aylin Sky, and I'm an astrologer and numerologist. I'm best known for cutting right through the noise and bringing the most important messages to you. Welcome back to Uprise Astrology podcast. We are going to be diving in today to discuss the upcoming horoscope for the month of November 2022 for all my Virgo and Virgo rising friends. I can't say this enough. If you're listening to this particular episode, find out what is happening in your own chart. The best thing to do is to make sure that you are listening first and foremost to your rising sign. So if you know that you're a Virgo rising, then this is going to be a more accurate picture of what is holding in your own personal chart as well. As far as the energies, it'll align a little bit more accurately. Now, your sun sign will also give you some insight as to what might be some that you're working through at this time, and also just in general for the long term, some of the things that you're going to be working on, not only just this month, but a little bit longer than that. So we're going to be diving right in. The month of November is going to have a lot of surprises, you guys. It's going to start out, and it has already started out, with a fixed sign T-square. For you guys, this is going to be happening in your third house. Correction. Yes, it's going to be happening in your third house, your sixth house, and your ninth house. This is a time where many of you are starting to realize that you really are changing the perspective on your life. You're changing the big picture point of view, and you are having to become more distinct and purposeful with your health, with your lifestyle, and aligning these things a lot more. These are the things that you're moving towards. That's what I'm seeing for many of you. And it starts during the first week of November. The first week of November, from the 7th until the 13th, you're starting to realize that you're really wanting to focus a lot on the big picture of your life. Where do you want to take your next the next portion of your life to? What are some of the goals that you're wanting, right? The ninth house oftentimes can be a house that is about freedom at a very basic level. We're trying to create more freedom in our life. And there is a particular philosophy or methodology or something that we have to stand into in order to do it. So we have to become a little bit more curious. So a lot of the energy right now for you guys, it's a bit chaotic. It feels a little bit uncertain, but it's something to lean into, because this is where Uranus and the North Node is for you guys, is in the ninth house. So it's a really good time to use this fixed to put you into a holding pattern for the month of November in a way that you are focusing on yourself. You're cutting out some noise, okay? You're cutting out the opinions of other people. And this is something you're going to be running into, and you're going to be observing this actually quite a bit, because a lot of the focus right now is in your third house. Conversations, a lot of things that are starting to come up that you're starting to notice that are not good. They're toxic in nature. They're manipulative in nature. They are in a way where, it distracts you in such a way that it really pulls your energy into places that you don't have to. And this is an observation that is coming up this week, as well as you focusing on some very important relationship dynamics at this time. These are relationships that could be working with you. These are relationships that are in your immediate environment, someone that you're seeing on a day-to-day basis, or somebody that you know. And it could be someone here on both ends. The pendulum will swing on both ends. We're starting to realize this person is a acquaintance or a connection that is not good for you guys, and it is now time to do something about it. So a lot of the scorpionic energy, especially with this fixed sign T-square, it is helping you to identify what actually needs to, there's some really important matters right now in your life that tie into relationship dynamics where that relationship is just so powerful in a not so good way, in a toxic way. You got to let this go. This is going to be something that's going to come up. Now, another thing that is going to come up here is that you might start to notice, if you have brothers and sisters, if you have any siblings at all, any cousins, anybody that's, kind of family environment, you might notice here that there is a very particular challenge that is been there for quite some time, and it's now time to deal with the situation. This might be another thing that comes up, and it could be someone that doesn't even live around you. It could be somebody that is actually living in a different city, in a different country, even, because you have that energy flowing between the ninth and the third house. And so you feel now that you're strong enough to deal with this situation, and it's time to do it. Now, that is how the week starts out, with a lot of this type of, energy, these things mentioned. And then the other thing that is so brilliant about what is unfolding with this square going into the full moon lunar eclipse is that we are going to have this Sun Mercury cazimi at 14 degrees. This is going to be at Scorpio in your third house. There is some clarity around what you need to focus on, what you need to really get to the root and the bottom of your mindset, your attitude, the way in which you're approaching certain things right now that have to do with projects, that have to do even with writing. Could be something that you're doing in form of speech. The third house can speak to these types of things. There's a lot going on right now that is bubbling up, that wants your attention. And it is a good time with the Sun Mercury cazimi to deal with these issues directly, to conversations that are really important right now that need to be had, or in general, to start to understand what you need to protect about your mindset, about yourself. And there's a lot of maybe texts that are coming up, information within the text, group text that you might be a part of. There might be some kind of documents or videos or things that you're watching that are really pointing out to you that there is a story here that you need to expose that impacts you at some level. And why is it? This is going to be the clarity that starts to kick in. That's my prediction for many of you, to point out, the depth of your feelings and the psychology of your feelings, and kind of understanding how to deal with this at this depth now is going to reward you in such good ways, because you have Saturn in the sixth house of your lifestyle. So any kind of lifestyle changes, if you've been wanting to create these lifestyle changes, this is the time to do it. This is the time to get into it, to get to the root cause. And all of this gets backed up with where we're at today. We have a full moon lunar eclipse at Taurus at 16 degrees. This is going to be unfolding for you in the ninth house. This is a huge sort of moment when you are waking up to an energy in your life that you need to walk towards. When I say energy, I'm talking about a feeling based energy first and foremost. The ninth house has a lot to do with us really taking our life to the next level and being super curious about what else is possible, what we had not considered before. Seeing our life from a completely different perspective is so rewarding. But noticing that we need to move towards that kind of a view is the first step. And that is what I believe is happening with this ninth house situation. The other thing is also that you could be, for the first time, actually wanting to connect to things that are outside of your immediate life, that are very they're pulling you towards that direction. So what I'm talking about, studying something, learning about something new, being with people who are having to show you, not having to, but actually get to show you want to create, and how they go about it is so different. And there is sort of an unexpected circumstance that could come up that puts you into this type of situation where now you realize There is a determination that is being born out of this sort of situation that you're dealing with at this time. And it is all about you understanding what is sort of an outmoded tradition in your life when it comes to your mindset, the way in which you've been thinking, or even situations that they've been there for a while. And maybe you didn't know how to really deal with certain relationships, with cutting certain groups out, with not paying attention constantly to a particular group of people. Mindset plays a role. And so now you realize that this is coming to an end now. There is a moment here where you realize it is now the time for you to move beyond these limitations that keep mind super focused and hyper focused on things that are not good for you. And so other people could come into the picture here. Many of you could also realize that this next project, or even some form of publishing you get involved in, it requires for you to travel somewhere that is so different, a place you have not been before, or it involves a project where travel is connected to it and you may have to go to it, or you may have to sort of work out your travel plans or your commute somehow in a way where you can make this work. But it's so rewarding spiritually, first and foremost. So this is what the power of the full moon lunar eclipse is going to bring you, not only this month, it just starts this month, but it's going to be until the next 6 months, really, because that's the power of eclipse season. Moving forward, Mercury opposite Uranus, this is now going to continue to bring the conversation up even more. You might find out some things that are a bit shocking in nature. They are so different, things that you didn't expect, but also in the middle of this week, many of you are going to start to realize this is now a time where you feel more determined than ever, because you're just at the same time also annoyed at your situation, or at situations that come at you from an angle that they really suck, right? Like you don't want to deal with this anymore. And so there's a part of you that kind of wakes up with this oppositional force. Mercury is in your third house. So there is a moment where you're going to be able to point out an issue that is not part of moving forward. There is a change and a shift that is occurring. So on this day, just know the energy can be a little bit scattered because of these types of conversations that could come up, or some kind of epiphany that you have. But first and foremost, this is going to show you what to really focus on, that new thing that you want to bring more into your life. That is the kind of philosophy, the kind of methodology, the kind of thing that you're wanting to attract and pull into your life, and the kind of lifestyle that you want to live. Totally focus on it, and you get that validation through this Mercury Uranus opposition. And so what happens right after that, moving from the second week until the third week, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus still together in your third house, trining to Neptune in your seventh house at 22 degrees. This is going to be a really nice time where there is a higher meaning now and a togetherness that you're going to feel with your most loved ones, relationships, partnerships that you are the closest to. It could be 1 to 2 to 3 relationships here become very significant during this time. And you find that there's some kind of a hope that returns because you're receiving not only this validation that your life is going now in a new direction, that you're going to take it in a new direction, there is this determination, but there is also this beautiful energy that you're feeling from your relationships at this time, because relationship dynamics start to change. Now, another thing that could come up for many of you here is that there's some kind of new business and a new contract or a new agreement that starts to come up, but it's a natural thing that happens. It kind of just pops into your life. This person sees a lot of value in you, and so they approach you. These are the types of dynamics you could be running into, which is a really nice energy. But at the very minimum, this is hope returning back to kind of give you a fresh thinking and to revive your mindset, your curiosity on how to deal with issues directly and get them done quickly. And that is going to be, I think, something that is going to be super and super beneficial for your self and your mental health as well. November 15th through the 16th, Venus and Mercury are going to be trining Jupiter. This conversation is still unfolding between your third and your seventh house. That's where Jupiter is at. And again, this is going to be a nice support. This is going to be also a time when you feel like, I want to go out. I want to go out on a date. I want to have a date night type of situation. Relationships, again, play a huge role. You might be going to a concert. You might find joy in shopping, just getting yourself involved in some kind of art. But there's an expansion of your life experience and your mindset. And just in general, you could feel like there is a very productive energy now, and there's a coming together. Things are clicking together now in your life type of energy. Okay. Really, really nice. You could also dive into just doing some more research. If you are looking to research something, if you're looking to learn something, this is going to be a really, really good time. You could learn something about certain laws or particular issues that require for you to understand negotiation terms. This is a really good energy. November 16th and 17th, this is when the energy out of your third house, the house of, I can't avoid this. This pops into my head, randomly sometimes, but the third house can be the house of gossip, So gossip, any kind of mindset, sort of, thinking, intellectual things, environment. It comes out of your third house. It moves into your fourth house. So a really nice energy for you guys where you're going to start to focus on home life a lot more, but in an exciting way. More to come about this when we take a look at the December energies. Sorry. Now, the one energy I want to talk about that I have been paying attention to since October, because that's when it started. And we talked about this in your guys' report for last month as well. Mars-Neptune square. This Mars-Neptune square, couple of weeks here, we've been spending some time. What's different about this square now? This month, Mars is retrograding, and it's going to be retrograding until the end of the year. And Mars has been in Gemini since August 20th. It's going to remain here until mid to end of March. And so this energy right here is a lot of for you guys within your career. There's a lot of rethinking the terms of your role. That's the first and foremost thing that I'm seeing. There is a lot of sort of new ideas that are coming up, which direction to go. But this square to Neptune has to do with certain relationships. So while you have this incredible opportunity to expand relationships and attract things that come into your life, at the same time, you need to watch out for people in your life that resemble sort of a relationship dynamic where it's just nuts. Okay. It might be sort of this feeling that comes back, or a situation that comes back with a boss or a coworker or some kind of person in the back that you in the past that you had a business with, or some kind of a business dealing with. You are like, wow, I thought the situation was done, and it kind of bounces back. This person could be reaching out to you. You could hear something about them, but is some kind of caution involved here. Something about this energy is nuts. It's crazy. It's not normal. Okay. There's some kind of deceitful action. What I mean by it's not normal is that there is deceit behind it. And so there's a twisted intention that someone is bringing into the picture, and you guys want to pay attention to this, and it will directly impact your, career or career goals or the actions that you're taking out there in the world. It has to do with that. It has to do also with someone who is just not very good with clarity. So you could be running into this, and it could, for a moment here during this week from the 16th until the 22nd, that third week of, November, you could just be in this place where you're like, I don't want to deal with this, and there's a way that you can deal with this directly and shut this down. But it is best to understand that you have to deal with this right now. So whatever it is that comes up, don't go into a place where you could be questioning what I'm doing with my life. Like, why is this happening again to me? Don't worry. It's not happening to you. It is just being shown to you so that you can deal with this in a different way. That is what Mars and Gemini is, so that you don't fall into a certain trap like you have maybe in the past. This is for you to take a different action, to react differently. And you might actually be surprised how, well this goes, how well you are dealing with it, and how much you have changed because you have such stronger boundaries now that you have had to put and learn and kind of put into place with your lifestyle, because that's where Saturn has been at, right? So all of this stuff is going to, play a role. And many of you could feel quite emotional during this time because you feel like you might want to lash out. You might want to just speak about it or say something about it and just use your discernment here, right? Your heart space and your discernment at the same time. Like, is this the time to speak up about it? If it is, you will know. So there's some kind of liberation that can come out of this. So watch out for this energy. Moving on, we are going to be now in a beautiful new conversation when it comes to your home life, because this is when Venus and Mercury are going to start to be in a conjunction, traveling together. Several times they're going to be exact from the 4th until the 20th. This is going to unfold in your 4th house. A beautiful new energy when it comes to home life and family members and family in general. Whatever you use to define that right now, this is a really, really nice time. But it's also a time when you start to realize that some things in the past are just not the current moment anymore. You are realizing that you're not reliving your past anymore. Something really different. There's a new story that is unfolding, and it's a story that you really like. It's a story that you have been, trying to create in your life. And so more of this energy is starting to pour in. You're starting to notice that it's exciting. And there is a fresh start that is happening here, and you feel very differently about yourself during this time. So really nice energy here, a new foundation that's being built. And at the same time as I love this energy, the sun is going to be still in your 3rd house, trining Jupiter in the 7th house. This is when you start to become very interested in what else is possible with relationships, but there is some kind of specifically like a financial, a marketing, sales, or a vision that comes through. The ideas that are attached to this trine, they will actually have the potential to manifest in a big way. This is a time where you are going to start to notice that, wow, I could really take this to the next level. I could have some big gains when it comes to the relationship dynamics that support me right now, and specific people that can help you to get to where you want to get to with your creative pursuits. And at the very minimum, this can also be a really nice energy for you to have much necessary conversations to clear your space, to clear your mind, and to clear yourself so that you can step out of your comfort finally and go into a new direction, and letting some things that used to be on your mind, freeing those things up, confronting them, go. This is a really nice energy for that, okay? Think future growth, think specifically expanding your creative ideas, and there's financial kind of gain that can come out of it, not only now, but in the long run. Really nice energy. I love that for you guys. Now, before we move on, I want to briefly introduce myself. Who is new on my channel. My name is Aylin Sky. I'm an astrologer and numerologist. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. This particular style of horoscope that I put out, that I'm committed to put out every month, is kind of designed for you guys to follow along for every week of what is coming. I love using the astrology this way, and I hope that you guys love it too, because there's something really beautiful about knowing what the stars are intending, the conversations that are unfolding, and kind of having a little bit of a heads up. We can't possibly control our life in a way where we would know everything, but I think this conversation and opening up this conversation for the immediate future can be super beneficial, because it helps us to kind of learn even more in depth about ourselves, about the situations, and how to navigate our life. So if you like this kind of content, then let's hang out. Subscribe to my channel, ring the bell. I would love for you to be a part of this channel. And thank you to all the new subscribers that are here. I see every single one of you. Thank you for subscribing. Now we're going to move on to November 22nd to the 23rd. Jupiter moves direct. This is in your seventh house. This has to do with any kind of relationship dynamics. You've been wondering, how is this going to go? Like, are we going to finally move forward? And the answer is yes. Anytime a planet moves forward, there is a clarity, there's a forward movement, obviously, that comes with it. And so Jupiter at 28, there is a big manifestation, either business contract or some kind of bond that you have to another person that is so important to you, so personal to you at this time. And there is quite the future growth that is going to come out of this. And you're going to watch this over the next several weeks. And so then Sagittarius season begins. This is when the sun is going to start to join the party now with Mercury and Venus in your fourth house. This is when you can start to really focus on home life, feeling like there's a boot from within, even your comfort with, you just feeling safe in general. There is a reboot that is happening here, which is really nice. November 26th through the 30th, Mars is going to be in your career house, trining to Saturn in the sixth house. So this is going to be a time when you feel like you really want to reorganize your career and your lifestyle and the lifestyle changes that you're trying to make. You're going to finally feel like this is it. Like, I am actually narrowing down a smarter move to go about my career. Maybe there are some specific things you've wanted to know. Is this me sustainable? Am I able to uphold this particular, lifestyle change? Is this something I can continue doing? How do I actually prepare for this? And then how do I show up as a result of it out there in the world? This is becoming full energy where you're making it happen now. You understand what you need to focus on. You understand there's clarity behind it. There's a very smart move or action that you're taking, and you get sort of the validation for it. Anytime when Saturn is involved, the validation is real in real time. Like, we see the effort that we put in, we see some kind of, return for our effort. And so for you, this is going to be about your health and your lifestyle. And I'm excited for you because I know many of you have been working on this. Now, there is a little bit of a sort of an angry moment that we're, running into. November 29th, Mercury is going to be in your fourth house, having that opposition to Mars in your 10th house of career. So home and family life, there is a situation here that comes up where you could feel that you're really angry. Something kind of crosses the boundary. You feel like there is a discussion that comes up about, what you can and cannot do, or there could be some kind of issue that you're being very sensitive about, but it's rightfully so because you feel that this person's kind of maybe even attacking you. There's an exchange of words that could happen here with a boss, with a coworker, with somebody in your career. And also, then that creates a little bit of this disruption, for your home or your home life, or it kind of pours or crosses the boundary with your home life and your privacy. There could be some kind of a thing that comes up here, and that you need to maybe compromise here in a different way. You need to negotiate the terms about what you can and cannot do, how you can show up in a new way. Okay, so this is going to come up during this time. But whatever is being challenged, just know that you are going to just deal with this for hours. This is an energy to, reassure that you are sticking to these changes in your life that you are creating, and putting your foot down and not letting it, kind of go where you are saying, okay, well, I guess, in the past I negotiated about that, but not this time. I feel like many of you are going to feel like you're not going to do that this time. The other thing I do want to say is caution around hot or sharp objects, whether that's at work or at home. This can be a time where hot things could, you could burn yourself, like it, during this energy, because it's so scattered, it's a little bit frantic, even in a way. You could be moving fast, you could not be paying attention. Caution around hot and sharp objects. All right, you guys, this is what I see for all of my Virgo and Virgo rising friends for the month of November 2022. Let me know how it's unfolding for you. Maybe you have some predictions. You want to share something with me that you feel is so important. Really need to get off your chest. The comment section below. Just drop a comment. I will be hanging out there. I will see all of the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next horoscope. Bye, you guys.